So it's the next day. It was raining like crazy all over yesterday afternoon and night. The weather change is finally completed. It's now overcast, about 16 degrees. Steady western wind, that's at least what the weather forecast says. And we're gonna go back and try for this really crazy looking abnormal head that we've tried to call 2 or 3 times and he's never responded. I'm hoping maybe now is the time that we can either call him away from his female or maybe he's done with the female and he's by himself. We know exactly where his territory is due to the trail cams. And we're going to stalk through this little bit of forest and then stand again behind a tree where we called before, which is in between 2 thickets where we know that he's going to be probably in either one of the 2. Exciting.
I think there's not too much of a difference between calling an old buck or a young buck. If an old buck is rutty and he wants to come, he will approach quickly. And the same with a young buck. If he's rutty and he's liable to he's liable to come to the call, he'll come quickly too. I think the difference is more once the buck is in your view, an older buck will only let you make so many mistakes before he's gone, where a younger buck with less experience will be around you. He might even take a whiff of bad wind. If you do some movement that he sees, he will excuse that much more because he's not as used to, or he doesn't have that much life experience. Yeah. But with an older buck, let's say 5 or older, you better make good field decisions when he approaches, and you better have good wind because if there's the smallest mistake, he'll be gone.
When calling bucks, I usually start on 3 times magnification because when I have a little bit of space, otherwise I go down all the way to 1.7 if it's a very close space, because sometimes these bucks come running in like crazy and you shoot, like one we had to shoot underneath our high seat, and if the magnification is slightly too high you have to readjust and you don't have time when they're this close. If the buck comes in slowly from a longer distance, I always have time to put the magnification up. But it's best to start relatively low, just in case he comes in quickly. It's one of those mornings we have swirling winds. It's going everywhere. Now it's coming from this direction. While we were down there, it was coming like this. Good thing is, it's relatively open terrain, so if we see him coming, it might give us time to take the shot before he actually gets wind. Now we just need to find a good tree. doesn't look like a super old buck. On the other hand, he's so abnormal and so interesting that it makes sense to shoot him probably. I think he's 3 to 3, maybe 4. He went down. We were just trying to find the tree from where we would start calling, and he was literally behind us searching for a female, and he stumbled across our path, and he reacted a little bit to the call, but he wanted to go back down to his territory. What a buck. I mean, he looks amazing.
The sound moderator I like to use is Svemco. This one is the Svemco Hunter 1.0 short. So this is great for any type of smaller calibers like this 6x50, which is actually a shiring caliber. The bullet travels at about 820 meters per second. Perfect for roe deer, and the short sound moderator is easily enough to take the sound down to a very comfortable level. What I love about these Svemco sound moderators is that you can put them onto the barrel with a quarter turn. So instead of, I just put it on like this, and then I do a quarter turn and it's on. It's good to have a sign showing exactly on which side of the barrel the sound moderator attaches to every time. I like to do it up on the top at 12 o'clock, just in case there is a slight minimal difference when you put it on a different way. The accuracy is fantastic. I'm extremely happy with this product because it's so easy to take off and put back on. And it's light, it fits the rifle perfectly, and I've been very happy with this setup.
A slight change of plans again because of the wind. We've now got a southern wind, not a western wind. We're going to go in right into the middle of the territory of this 3-antlered buck and have a look. Hope the wind will stay steady now.
It's quite interesting to see you have some bucks, especially the more aggressive ones, they also mark and scratch their territories much more than calmer bucks. And often that is also the younger bucks that mark and scrape more. And when you have a good structured forest, or let's say hunting area, where older bucks have their set territories, they usually at the beginning of April or mid-April, once they shed their velvet, they go around and they defend their territory that they've had for the last few years, but it's relatively clear because they still have more or less the same neighbors, and there's not that much marking and scraping going on. If there's no structure like that, the young bucks scrape and mark everywhere in the forest, and you can see that depending on which territory you're in, how much that buck scrapes and marks. It's usually younger bucks, but then also depending on the territory, on the personality of the buck, some of the older bucks, if they're particularly aggressive, they will mark and scrape more than on average.
buck so many times from this particular stand. But the wind was always bad. We saw him twice with his female in there, but they busted us 2 times. Now we tried to call him from the other side because the wind was said to be good from there. We went there, the wind was bad, we came back here. It's a minute we were here. Only took a few calls, we're in the center of his territory, and as you saw, he came and the female followed. He wanted to know what's going on here. Now, I had to take a frontal shot in the neck, but it's only 25 meters. But it was impossible to wait until he turned broadside because he was gonna come up here straight. He wanted to know what was going on. Now this is a buck that is at least 8 or 9 years old. We've tried to hunt him for a few years and he has a big story in our forest. Wow. Warrior.
I'm slightly speechless. He really is. He's a phenomenon. I mean, he's unique, absolutely unique. His right-hand side looks like a fallow pricket. He's got a little bit of pus coming out of his right eye. He's got fight marks on the back of his ear. Quite significant fight marks. I don't know how he even managed to fight, because any other buck with 2 antlers would easily be able to take this side, but he had one of the best territories in the forest. I guess it's just through age and experience. And he was a very good buck when he was 4 or 5, but we never managed to take him. And even here, I mean, his coronets, I don't even know where they start and where they end, because it's all so big and grown. It's very strange. But what a buck, what an experience. I mean, calling bucks is just, in this type of terrain, in the summer, it really doesn't get much better. And look at his ears, how dull they are, because he's been fighting and rubbing them everywhere. I mean, it's an ancient buck. Ancient buck. Absolutely incredible. I think the row rut is the most magical time in the year. For me, it's part of my life, and I cannot imagine living without the land, the animals, and everything as much in harmony as possible.